I'm recording this about 1 hour away from BLACKPINK's comeback, so you have already experienced it by now, but I haven't. The voice you're hearing is in the past, so how was it? Did we survive? Is it everything we hoped for? Do you already have a favorite song in the album? Let future KJ know, I'm sure he'll talk about it in the next video. At this current moment, which is your past, the thing blowing up online right now is the whole Lucas cigarette ordeal. So let me explain what happened and maybe debunk some things. Lucas was doing a V Live with his fellow WAV members. They were having fun, doing sing-alongs for the fans. Well, at one point, things got pretty rowdy as they were dancing, and apparently, Lucas flashed a certain box to the camera. They then focused the phone on the other members as he stayed out of the frame just for a little bit. People then seemed to be pretty sure that it was a cigarette box, seeing as how there was a previous instant where a similar packaging was also seen on him, which brought the conversation to, what is it? Well, there are several possibilities that have come up. Cigarettes, this cough medicine, or this herbal brand of less or no nicotine cigarette type things. To be honest, I'm not sure which one it is. Regardless, a good portion of the reactions I've seen is that if it is cigarettes, he's an adult, it's legal, he can make his own choices. Plus, we aren't his personal friends or family to talk him one way or the other. Another portion are just worried for his health, especially with clips of him coughing going around concerning fans. And probably a very small, tiny minority are using this against him in some way, which I don't think is working because most of the reactions are now just memes. Remember what we talked about in previous videos. There will always be those people in the shadows waiting for anything to come up for them to strike. But that wasn't the only time an NCT related thing blew up recently. We all know NCT 2020 with all 23 members is coming. And even though I'm in the past right now and you're in the future, none of us have experienced NCT 2020 yet. The thing that blew up regarding them was a boycott of the voting system SM planned for this project. Yeah, almost like an NCT survival show. Kinda not really. SM announced the voting system for NCT 2020 where fans would have to vote which member would participate in which things, like fan signs, video chats, games, photo books, special songs. The obvious concern is that members who don't get enough votes won't be able to participate as much or maybe even at all. For example, they just added 2 new members who we are still getting to know. How would they have a fair chance in a voting system? We would probably never see them in those things. However, in a pleasant surprise of an announcement, it looks like SM saw the boycott, heard the fans, and listened to them. They released a statement saying they apologize for causing confusion and concern with the voting system. They just wanted fans to be able to participate in this giant project as well, but they agree with the fans and have decided to change it. Since then, they've announced which members will sing what and divided them out for each song. In this particular case, props to SM for not just changing it, but saying, hey, you know what, on this one, we agree with your concerns. Probably wasn't a good idea on our part. Now, each member has an equal opportunity to garner attention. But it blew my mind that the thing that grabbed the most attention this week, besides BLACKPINK, which remember, that hasn't happened for me yet, was JUNGKOOK. Him and his tied up hair, which I've been praying to the heavens for. And get this, it trended #1 over the NBA Finals. JUNGKOOK actually jumped to the top over LeBron. I'm sure Big Hit is over the moon about that kind of attention, but not about the one ENHYPEN got at the airport recently. First of all, yes, it's looking really good for the final lineup of Island. They haven't even debuted yet and already broke 500,000 followers on Twitter within the first 8 hours. Their first live broadcast surpassed 1 million viewers. Unfortunately, with numbers like that, you're going to have a few bad eggs, a few Sasang fans in the bunch. Some who apparently leaked their private flight information, causing a hectic and dangerous scene at the airport. So bad, the news outlets were describing it as chaos. I mean, just look at it. The members seem to have been pushed all over the place, separated from each other, and it was reported that one of the members, Jake, was left crying due to this ordeal. But that hasn't been confirmed or proven. Neither has the members passing out and collapsing report. support. Regardless, all of this during a pandemic, which makes it even more mind-blowing. The MVP in all of this though was this guy who, correct me if I'm wrong, seems to be their manager. He is working extra hard to keep these guys safe, and ultimately this situation resulted in new rules being posted to protect ENHYPEN. Again, these guys haven't even debuted yet, but I guess it's not surprising when you realize even those who aren't idols and are just connected to them receive this kind of attention as well. That's kind of what J-Hope's sister has been dealing with lately, especially after launching her clothing store's YouTube channel, which gained over 1 million subscribers in just 10 days. And just like ENHYPEN, with that kind of success comes the roaches who want to plant negativity and hate, saying she only got this because of who her brother is. And from the other comments she was getting in this vein, it seemed like their only purpose and desire was to get her to admit that she's only successful because of her brother. Now you know why Suga's brother removed his social media account, why Jungkook and Jin's siblings aren't public on social media or have even deactivated. And you know, if I had somewhere else to release the theory polls, maybe I would get off Instagram and Twitter as well. But for now, that's where I release them. So if you want me to break down and do a theory for ITZY, AT, Stray Kids, Super M, BLACKPINK's Lovesick Girls music video, which is about to be released in my timeline, follow me on Instagram and vote. If you're new and haven't seen my theories and breakdowns yet, sit back. For this video, EVERGLOW won the poll with La Di Da. When EVERGLOW announced their upcoming album name, fans were in a mad scramble to figure out what the numbers were referring to. They were either a math equation or coordinates. I believe the album art answers that question for us, because if you plug in the numbers as coordinates, the map will point you to the icy continent of Antarctica, which actually makes a lot of sense because in one of their previous songs, No Lie, they actually mention Antarctica, a song that is literally described as playing an important role in revealing EVERGLOW's story, narrative, and worldview. Not only that, but if you look very closely at their Adios music video, these coordinates also show up at the very end. So what did these songs foreshadow about this comeback in music video for La Di Da? Well, Adios was about them coming to terms and no longer being silent about how they really felt, leaving and shedding the relationship that caused them so much pain, taking back control of their own lives. Adios started in a barren desert and ended with them in what we now know was Antarctica. The music video for Dun Dun picks up in Antarctica, and the lyrics tell the story of the girls not just leaving, but conquering the ones who hurt them. As you can see, fully embracing a more cold-hearted nature, which is what the physical location of Antarctica is a reflection of. But being so cold-hearted means there's still anger inside. They've dealt with the external source of their pain, but not the resentment that still torments them within, which is often the hardest part. La Di Da shows the girls trying to ignore that part of the healing process by either changing their memories or suppressing them altogether. As far as they're concerned, they have finally accomplished becoming the heroes in their story, as they often mention in their behind the scenes. I mean, if you want more proof, just look at the way they land. Superhero landing! But we see through this facade they tell themselves, because as you can see, the hero shots in the beginning are so colorless. More in the vein of the movie Sin City than something like the Avengers. While the girls are finally out of the relationship that imprisoned them for so long in previous music videos, we see that mentally they are still just as trapped. However, the music video does show us the inevitable and gradual realization, because not only is their world void of any color, at first they can't even look at themselves in the mirror. That's why and when we begin to see progress. The girls turning more and more toward their own reflection, calling themselves out on the lie they've been telling themselves, until eventually we see them ultimately and truly break through. Take notice of their background, the stage, their wardrobe. Color finally seeps into their world as they deal with any pain, trauma, and regrets left inside. Toward the very end, we see EVERGLOW finally able to embrace themselves in the mirror. To me, the rain in this music video and surprising absence of the icy Antarctica landscape parallels that cold bitterness washing away from their souls and melting out of their hearts. EVERGLOW has now triumphed externally and internally, completing their hero's journey, making them stronger than ever, ready to take on anything and anyone that comes their way.